Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashakritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murtibheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyaptadehaaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्. सुखं नित्यं स्वप्रकाशं व्यापकं नामरूपयोः अधिष्ठानं बुद्ध्यबोध्यं बुद्धेर्दृग्यत्तु निर्मलम् अपारं सर्ववेदान्त वेद्यं प्रत्यक्परं महः तदेवाहं न मत्तोऽन्यत् इति मे निश्चिता मतिः. We started with the analysis that jiva, there is an adhikari who will take up study of this text. But on the topic of Vishaya, in sense of Vishaya, the topic of this text, questions were raised. Understood, accepted that there is a person who will take up the study of this text, but we have doubt about the topic which has been described here. As we have in colloquial subjects, that certain things are baseless. Say, for example, there is a syllabus or there is a research paper which is based on false reading and inaccurate values. Then the question is raised about the validity of the topic of that particular paper, by which the study of that paper is made invalid. In the same way, because now the questioner, or here the questioner is we ourselves, we should be asking these questions to satisfy the need for the inquiry or the need for the doubts to be cleared. That's why for clearing those doubts which may come later in our mind, these questions have been raised. Now the questions have been raised about the topic of this text, which is Jiva Brahma Aikya. Initially it is outrightly refuted that it is not possible at all. Why is it not possible? Because the nature of those two things is different. And because when the nature of two things is different, those two things are different from each other. For example, let's say if there is bulb and there is fan, one does not emit light but emits heat, and one does not emit light but gives coolness, gives us air, and one emits light but also emits heat. Because the nature of those two things are different, those two objects are classified different from each other. But say two bulbs, they both are same. That's why we don't differentiate in them. Simple example. Fire is same everywhere. Why? Because it emits light, it emits heat. That's why we don't call fire somewhere in America or somewhere in Europe in different name. Of course, in that particular language, the name will be different. But the characteristics described, the thing, it is the same. So, because Jiva and Brahma have different natures, they both are different. And you may say that I am saying this, that these Jiva and Brahman are different out of my own mind. Don't say that. For which, if you say I don't have any means of knowledge, no valid means of knowledge are available to say that Jiva and Brahma are different, I'll give you different means of knowledge for which the Purva Paksha, the questioner, gave different means of knowledge and for which we had seen examples. Pratyaksha Pramana, direct perception, Anumana Pramana, inference, Yukti, logic, and Shruti quotations, quotations from Upanishads, etc. Upanishads or Purana, etc. Initially, first and foremost, it was said because people are seen different from each other, they identify themselves different from each other. That's why jivas are many. If there was only one jiva, he would not have identified different from different in different bodies. Is it not? One says, I am big, I am tall, I am young, I am old. Do they not identify differently, different from each other? If yes, then they are different from each other. Simple. That's why jivas are different. This is directly perceptible. These differences are directly perceptible and you are still talking about their oneness. It's not possible. Inference. Do we not infer that you, me and I, because we act, our transaction, we communicate with each other in terms of you, me, I, he, she. In these terms, all these people who are indicated in these ways must be different from each other. I will not identify or indicate myself different from myself. Anumana Pramana. Then many jivas have been shown, devas, celestial beings, danava, demons, yaksha, raksha, rakshasa, etc. All these different categories of celestial beings, beings available on earth, are indicated to be different. That means they are different from each other. For all these, answer was given. The answer was given in a very simple, simplistic way. They say that the enquiry that you have started with, the objection that you have raised, is based on your inquiry into the nature of the truth, and which is a very important point. Understand, a jiva, a layman, is not totally wrong, but he has done inquiry half-heartedly. He has not progressed with his inquiry. So when he says pratyaksha, with pratyaksha pramana, that me, I, he, aham, I am old, I am young, all these experiences are seen, all those experiences are seen within myself also, which is a very good point and good observation. If I say everybody is different based on the way they are identified with, I identify myself with different people in different ways. Let's take this example still further. I say, I am a boy. Okay. I am son of so and so. I am father of so and so. I am uncle of so and so. I am daughter of so and so. In these ways, one person alone says, I am son, I am father, I am husband, I am uncle, I am nephew. Does that mean he becomes different? No. Being one, if he identifies with in different ways, same way it is possible for jiva also. So, one jiva identifies based on different upadhis in different ways. The inference that you have gained, what you have inferred based on different ways of communication, different ways of identification, indication, he, she, me, I, etc. That is also invalid. Why? Because you identify yourself as a third person when you are in deep sleep or in dream? Do you say that I am sleeping, or do you say that the one who slept well was me? Even though we may not say out loud, that's how we identify ourselves. I slept well, but the one who was sleeping is not the one who is me right now. Yet, I am the same person who was sleeping. It is a little bit tricky to understand, but let's inquire into this further. I am waking. I dreamt. I was asleep. I slept. Now, when I say I slept, that means the one who slept was me. The one who slept was me. And if the one who slept was me, then he was different, yet not different from me. That's how the language is expressing. The language is expressing the experience that we have had. Superficially, we are saying the person who was sleeping was different, yet he was not different from me. Why? Because the state of experience changed. And because the state of experience changed, the identification of me with myself has changed. If such is the case within me myself, and yet I am one the same, same is possible with jivas. Jiva himself may identify based on different states of experiences and upadhis as he, she, me, etc. There is nothing wrong. And Shruti quotations to talk to whatever that you gave, there are other Shruti quotations also. In Vedas it has been said, Ekaha eva jivaha, there is one jiva alone. The one jiva has entered into different upadhis and has become many. So that differences are apparent, but that oneness is real. The jiva being one and being one with Brahman is the reality. After all this analysis, we come to the idea of Sakshi. Here, if you compare the Sanskrit text, the Sanskrit book with Hindi, there is difference in the flow and structure. We are going to go with the Sanskrit, whatever that we are studying right now. Sthitasya gatihi chintaniya, whatever that we have in front of us, we have to follow through the teaching method in that particular book. This has been rearranged for our own benefit. So, Sakshi Brahmaikya Vishaye Akshepaha. Here, the akshepa, the objection has been raised between the oneness of not jiva and Brahman, but Sakshi and Brahman. Now, who is a Sakshi and what is Brahma? Brahma we know. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, that eternal immutable truth, as it has been translated in English. That truth is Brahman. That which is eternal, that which is knowledge principle, that which is consciousness principle, that which is pure happiness principle, that is Brahman. And that which is available for experience with us, who is witness consciousness of all the experiences, is Sakshi. Who is a Sakshi? The sun which has been reflected in that water, the reflection of that sun sans its reflective surface is Sakshi, which is not at all different from the original. In fact, it is the original. So, witness consciousness, let's translate it in this way. On this topic, because the author has not explained this here, he is going to explain this particular idea later, but let's analyze it here first, so that a concept of Sakshi will be clear. We have said, or we have seen earlier, that in all our vrittis, in all our thoughts, Chaitanya, that Brahman, is reflected. Yes. In there, now there are two things. One is that antahkarana vritti, one is that thought modification, and one is the Chaitanya aspect. And when they two come together, there is formation of a jiva. So, the reflection is called as chidabhasa. The reflection, and when we say reflection, reflective surface is required. That reflection with reflective surface together, where that reflection of sun is available, that is called as chidabhasa. Abhasa, appearance of chit. But remove that upadhi and just focus on the chit which is available along with those upadhis, or with the help of those upadhis. That Chaitanya principle alone will be Sakshi. Why? Because it is being referred with respect to the antahkarana vritti, of which it is witness consciousness. So it's going like all the way through. But that's how it is required. Why? Because that's how our experiences are. In terms of drik drishya viveka, the witness and the object, it is much more simpler. The one who is seeing is always different from that which is seen. This topic, this will be taken up later in the next part, but let's understand it first here. The seer is different from whatever that is seen. If they were one, then seer would become yellow by seeing yellow color. So I am seeing a yellow colored object. Let's say a yellow flower. When I see a yellow colored flower, who is actually seeing that flower? My eyes. It's not me. Because when I say me, all my body parts are taken into consideration. Only my eyes are seeing that flower. So eyes are seer, that flower is seen. Now eyes, I am not able to see clearly, I am not able to see perfectly. My eyes have now become weak, I need spectacles, I need glasses. I understand my eyes have become weak. That means I know my eyes. Who is this knower? It's my mind. So mind becomes seer for eyes, and and eyes become seen. Now this is a different pair of seer and seen. This mind, I am angry, I am happy, I am sorrowful, in this way is understood, known, in other words seen. So mind is seen, but the one who knows that mind is not seen at all. If you want to add buddhi, intellect. But there again make a pair. I know that I know and I know that I don't know. And in this knowing and not knowing, there is only one knower. I know that I know and I know that I don't know. Now here you can't make any difference. So who is that knower of all the pairs which are following? That is the witness consciousness, that is Sakshi. This is the idea of Vedantin in Vedanta. But Purva Paksha is going to take Sakshi, or the questioner is going to take Sakshi as a jiva. For only this explanation, all these steps were required. Now let's progress with the text. Sakshi Brahmaikya Vishaye Akshepaha. Objection about the oneness between Sakshi and Brahman. Jivatirikta Sakshi Nasti. Satvepi Sakshi Nana iti Shanka. What exactly is the objection? Author says, Jivatirikta Sakshi. There is no different witness. Because Jivatirikta, it has been said. So I am not going to say witness consciousness. There is no different witness different from Jiva. So Jiva alone is witness. There is no other Sakshi. And even if you say so, that Sakshi will be many in number. It will not be one. If you are still trying to argue and still going to tell me that there is witness consciousness, then that witness consciousness has to be many in number. Why? Let me tell you. Yaduktam sukha-dukkha-adayaha antahkarana dharmaha. Now initial part is the Vedantin's part. Objectioner is going to tell us what we say and refute that. So what do we say? Objectioner tells us what we say. Yaduktam sukhadayo antahkarana dharmaha taccha antahkaranam anekam. You said that sukha and dukkha, happiness and sorrow, are dharma, qualities of antahkarana. They belong to antahkarana. Yes. Because only when antahkarana is available, sorrows and happiness are experienced. In deep sleep, antahkarana is not available, and because antahkarana is not available, neither sorrow is experienced nor happiness is experienced. Taccha antahkaranam anekam. And that antahkarana is not one, but they are many. Antahkaranas are many in number. Inner instruments. It's so funny to see antah, inner, karana, instrument. That's why inner instrument. But inner instrument has nothing to do with antahkarana in reality. So what is antahkarana? The composite of all our thoughts is antahkarana. Nothing else. So let's keep the word antahkarana. Tasmat एकोपाधिस्थ सुख दुःखादयो धर्माः उपाद्यंतर संबंधिनः न भवन्ति. We had argued because tasmat एकोपाधिस्थ सुख दुःखादयो धर्माः. Sukha and dukkha, the qualities of happiness and sorrow, which are there in one antahkarana, those upadhyantara sambandhinaha na bhavanti, will not belong to the other antahkarana which is in different upadhi. They will never belong to that. That's how we had said. Because the original question was, if there is one jiva or there is one sakshi, then by experience of sorrow by one, everybody will experience sorrow and everybody will experience happiness. But that is not possible. Why? Everybody has different antahkarana. And because everybody has different antahkarana, the happiness and sorrow experienced in one antahkarana will not be experienced by different antahkarana, different jiva. Okay. Sakshi tu, furthermore, Sakshi tu सर्व सुख दुखादि साक्ष्य धर्मा संबद्ध एकः एव. Sakshi tu, but Sakshi is sarva sukha dukkhadi, all sorrows, happiness, etc. Sakshya dharma, qualities of Sakshya antahkarana, that is that which is witnessed. Sakshi, that which is being witnessed, is Sakshya. Sakshya dharma asambadha, unbound by the qualities of antahkarana. Ekaha eva, and is one alone. So, Sakshi is one, unbound by the qualities of antahkarana, of which it is witness consciousness. Tasya cha brahmana aikyam vaktum shakyate eva, and of that Sakshi, which is one, which is unbound by qualities of antahkarana, of which it is witness consciousness, that Sakshi, of that Sakshi, oneness with Brahman is possible, is there. That oneness is real. That oneness is possible to be explained. It is appropriate to say that they are one. To which objectioner says, Tanna, all this argument that you have proposed is wrong. Why? Kartrutva bhoktrutvaadi dharma विशिष्ट जीवातिरिक्त साक्षी सत्वे pramana bhavat. All this what you have talked about Sakshi sattve pramana bhavat. He just outrightly says there is no pramana, there are no means of knowledge by which it can be validated and proved that there is Sakshi, a witness consciousness which is different from कर्तृत्व भोक्तृत्वादि धर्म विशिष्ट जीव, different from a jiva. Jiva, what is that jiva for which visheshanas have been given? Kartrutva bhoktrutvaadi dharma vishishta, qualified by the qualities of kartrutva and bhoktrutva. Kartrutva, doerness. Bhoktrutva, enjoyerness or experiencerness. When we say bhoktrutva, bhokta, experiencer of sorrows and happiness, etc., everything. So experiencerness for qualities. Doerness and experiencerness. These qualities belong to that jiva, and no other witness consciousness is seen different from jiva. There are no pramanas by which such a sakshi can be proved or validated. Even if we say, just because you are so adamant, let's say there is such witness consciousness, there is such sakshi. Sakshi angikara pakshepi saha ekaha iti abhipagantum na shakyate. Even if we accept that there is Sakshi which is one, it is not possible to say that it is one alone. So again, now Purva Paksha is going to say Sakshi are many in number. किन्तु अनेके साक्षिणः इति एव युक्तम्. It will be right to say that Sakshi are many in number. There are many Sakshis. तथा हि अंतःकरणं तद्धर्म सुखदुःखादयश्च नानान्तःकरणेन नवा इन्द्रियेण विषयीक्रियन्ते किन्तु साक्षिणा एव इति वेदांत सिद्धान्तः. What is Vedanta Siddhanta? The central dogma of Vedanta. What has been concluded in Vedanta? Antahkarana, Antahkarana, Taddharma Sukhadukhadayascha, the qualities of Antahkarana, happiness and sorrow. Na Antahkaranena Indriyena va Vishayikriyante, are not objectified by Antahkarana itself or Vishaya or Indriya, or senses. My eyes will never know if I am happy or sorrowful. Happiness and sorrow being the qualities of Antahkarana, Antahkarana will never know if it is happy or sorrowful. So, by whom will they be objectified? Sakshi. So by Sakshi alone they will be objectified. Vishayi kriyante. Vishayi kriyante, again Sakshi kriyante. As we had come in seers in pairs. I know that I know and I don't know that I don't know. Who came to know about all that knowledge and lack of knowledge? We said Sakshi. Is it not? Sakshinah cha ekatve. Now he further progresses with his argument. Sakshinah cha ekatve yada ekantah karanastha sukhadukhadayah sakshina vishayi kriyante tada सर्वांतः करणगत सुखदुःखादयोपि विषयीक्रियेरन् तथानुभवाभावादनेके साक्षिणः इति अभ्युपगन्तव्यम्. If that witness consciousness was one throughout all antahkarana upadhis, yada, then when ekantahkaranastha sukhadukkhadayah, Sukha and Dukkha belonging to one particular antahkarana, Sakshina Vishayi Kriyante, when it is objectified, or when, let's keep this word to objectified, by one Sakshi or by Sakshi, tada, then Sarvantahkarana Sukha Dukkhadayaha api Vishayi Kriyeran, then he will identify at the same time with all other antahkaranastha sukha dukkha. Let's come back to our earlier example. Now he is going to use our own example against us. You had told about that serial arrangement of bulbs. No, right? So when you turn the light on, turn the switch on, all lights will get lit. It's not that only one bulb is going to get lit. Why? Because they are all connected by one particular wire. So, if one Sakshi is there for all antahkarana, when it starts identifying with one particular antahkarana, he has to identify with all antahkaranas. Is it experienced in that way? No. Tatha anubhava bhavat. There is no such experience which is available for reference. Therefore, aneke sakshinaha iti abhyupagantavyam. Now we may laugh at this particular argument, but this is how we act throughout the world in our daily life. But argument is very much sound and valid. Is it not? If there was one Sakshi, then he should identify with all antahkaranas at the same time, or he should not identify with them at all. And I never say I am happy and sorrowful at the same time. Because when I am happy, there is someone who is sorrowful. So I should experience happiness and sorrow at the same time. Why? Because me, if I am Sakshi, I am going to identify with not only just my sorrow or happiness, but sorrow and happiness of other person also. Such experience is not available. Therefore, all Sakshis, the witness consciousnesses, should also be many. There should be many witnesses. एवंच साक्षिणः अनेकत्वात्. Therefore, Sakshi are many in number, and because there are many Sakshi, Sakshinah anekatvat, na tesham ekena brahmana aikyam yujjeta. Now, how can you say, because Sakshi are many in number, they all are one with that Brahman? You can't say it that way. If there was one Sakshi, it would have been, it is acceptable to say, but not in this way. You can't say like that. Evancha Sakshinah anekatvad. Thus, Sakshi being many in number, tesham ekena brahmana aikyam na yujjeta. Of them, the oneness with that one Brahman which is one without the second, oneness is not possible. It is inaccurate to say. Now, only questions are going to be taken up initially. Answer will be given later. In between, author will give some answers. Antahkaranasya indriya vishayatvam. Now, because the topic came about the identification or objectification of sukha dukkha by antahkarana, indriya, etc. Now, author explains the questioner's standpoint. Antahkaranasya indriya avishayatvam. Indriyanam avishayatvam. Antahkarana is not objectified by indriyas, sense organs. This is the topic. Indriyani panchīkrita bhuta tatkaryanyeva vishayikuryuh. What can be objectified by indriya, sense organs? That which is the product of panchamahabhuta. Panchīkrita panchamahabhuta. Panchīkrita panchamahabhutas are grossified 5 elements. What are grossified 5 elements? Elements along with their counterparts. So when we say 5 elements, that is Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Jala, Prithvi. All these, they are independently existing, different from each other, which is apanchikrita, subtle 5 elements. But when they come together, where 50% of space and 12.5% of all the other are there, all each other, and come together. So where there is space 50% and 12.5% of air, 12.5 water, 12.5 fire, 12.5 earth. That combination is grossified 5 elements. Such grossified 5 elements and effect of these alone can be experienced by our sense organs, which is very much true. We see the object in front of us, and that object in front of us is made up of grossified 5 elements. Atrapyasti vyakshamaanaritya bhedah. Vakshamanaritya bhedah. the differences here are in the way which are going to be explained now. चक्षुरीन्द्रियम नीलपीतादि वर्ण युक्त घटादि निष्ठ नैल्यादि रूपम तदाधारभूत घटादि च विषयीकरोति त्वगिन्द्रियमपि स्पर्शे तदाश्रयञ्चोभयं विषयीकरोति. Now what is objectified by what sense organ is now being said? Chakshurindriyam, eyes as sense organs. Neela Pitadi Varna Yukta Ghatadi Nishtha Nailyadi Rupam. Ghata, a pot, along with its color. The pot which has yellow, blue, its colors, etc. Along with those colors, its form, the shape of that pot, and not just that, tad adhara bhuta ghatadi. Now this becomes technical. This language is now slightly technical, but it is not at all difficult. That form is different from mud. Let's take it this way. Gold. Does gold has one particular form? No. The form is different from that of gold. But when we say gold colored pot, gold pot, we are seeing the color, that glittering of gold, the shape of the pot, and the shape and that color are taking resort in that gold. The shape and the glittering, they are not independently existing that of gold. So they take support of gold. In the same way, Nailyadi Rupam, the blueness, blue color and the shape of that pot are taking resort. Tad adharabhuta, the adhar, the support of that. Tad adhara, tasya adhara. Support of what? Color and form. What is that? Ghata adi, the pot, etc. Vishayi karoti. So when our eyes are seeing any particular object, the eyes are seeing not just that object, but that material of which it is made up, the shape of that particular object, and the color of that particular object, where the color and shape are supported by the material of which that object is made. Tvagendriyamapi, what does our skin, the sparshendriya, tvak, do? It gives us sense, sparsha, and tadashrayancho bhayam vishayikaroti. The type of that sense, the touch, if it is coarse, if it is rough, if it is smooth, if it is cold, if it is warm, all these and the support of all these. Fire is hot, but that hotness is taking, that heat is taking support of that of fire. That heat is not different from fire. Or burning wood, charcoal, is hot, but that heat has taken support of that charcoal. Jiva grana shravanani tu त्रीणीन्द्रियाणि वस्त्वाश्रित रसगंध शब्दानेव क्रमाद् विषयीकुर्वन्ति न तु तदाश्रय द्रव्यम. Here now there is little bit difference. Jihva grana shravanani. Jihva, our tongue. Grana, nose, Shravana, Shravana, ear. Trini Indriyani, all these three organs, sense organs, Vastva Shrita, those which have taken support of particular object, Vastu. What are the qualities? What is that? Rasa, Gandha, Shabda. Rasa for taste, Gandha for smell, Shabda for sound. All these will be known. Kramad Vishay Kurvanti, objectified. Natu Tadashraya Dravyam, not the Dravya of which they have taken support. Now, what is Natu Tadashraya Dravyam? Okay. Natu Tadashraya Dravyam. Let me just give a short explanation in detail that let's see now only. Author in Tippani he has explained रसाद्याश्रय द्रव्यम चक्षुषा वा त्वचा वा विषय भवति, which is a very beautiful point. Actually, gunashrayatvam dravyatvam is the definition of dravya. Those which are supporting gunas, qualities, is a dravya. That which supports a quality is a dravya. Or the supporting quality is in which particular object is dravya. Let's keep it up to here only. Now, when I am seeing a pot, that object, that pot which supports its shape and color is seen. When I feel any particular surface, that surface along with its dravya is known. But when I taste sweetness, do I know the object? Yes, but that object is known because of the sense of touch, which is also available with the skin on my tongue. When I hear a sound of any particular instrument, I hear sound, but the instrument is known through our eyes. Had I not known the instrument, I would have just known the sound. I would have not known the difference between the sound of beating drums and tabla or any different percussion instrument. I would have felt or I would have thought, had I not seen those particular instruments different through my eyes, all these sounds are coming from one particular object alone. So even though this sound is coming from different instrument, the sound, this quality, belongs to the dravya. That dravya is known through eyes. That's what it said, Natu Tadashraya Dravyam. So the Ashraya Dravya, the object of which they have taken support, is known by either skin or eyes. एवं तत्त्रयेणापि इंद्रियेण अंतरम अंतःकरणम न विषयीक्रियन्ते. Let's see this next time because this will continue with the next inquiry. Om Asato ma Sadgamaya Tamaso ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.